Homeschool supply number 1, lots of coffee. Hi everyone, welcome to our homeschool table. I'm Jerilyn. I'm a mom of 3 kids, ages 9, 3, and 10 months old. Today I am part of a collaboration with CJ from Homeschooling Through High School and Stephanie from Schulte Sweeties Homeschool. And they are hosting a collaboration all about homeschool must-haves and supplies. So you will definitely want to check out the playlist linked down below in the description box to see what all of the other moms are showing in their must-have videos as well. So the first thing that comes to mind when I think about must-haves for homeschooling isn't pencils, it's not erasers or notebooks or paper. It's curriculum. Next year will be our 6th year homeschooling. And so I am used to kind of following a plan, and not that I can't put a plan together of my own kind of homemade curriculum. I just like to follow what someone else tells me to do. So I am really big into researching curriculum and just seeing what all is out there. I really, in my homeschool, want to have curriculum so that I don't have to come up with the lesson on my own. The next thing that I find really helpful to have in my homeschool is a planner. This last year, I didn't use a store-bought planner. I had a cover already from a previous planner that I used, and it also has a nice back. And so I reused the front and back, and I just created my own. So I have a pocket here in the front where I can keep things that I need. I have calendars that I use to plan kind of monthly things. And then I have my attendance record here on the next page. Then I have all of my curriculum information for what my daughter needs to be doing. So this is the year at a glance plan and the lesson checklist that I created. And then I have everything pertaining to her reader schedule for Sunlight and things like that. So I like to have a planner to know what I'm teaching next. The next thing that I think is really important is to have a routine or a flow to your day. I am kind of an Excel spreadsheet junkie, and you probably have noticed that if you watched any of my previous planning series videos. But I have checklists that we use, and the most recent one that I have is this weekly checklist, and it just has kind of the flow to our day down the side, and we just check off each of the tasks that we do. This is mine, it says mom at the top, and then my daughter has one for herself. And it's really helpful because when I have to go change a diaper or get somebody a snack or something like that, my daughter just knows, okay, I need to go do math assignment number 12B, and she works on that while I'm doing other things. So it's really helpful for her to be able to be independent. The next thing that I want to talk about are outside of the house activities. So extracurricular things that we do. We have a family of 5, my husband and I, and then I have, like I said, a 9-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 10-month-old. And so we are at home a lot, and so we like to make sure to get out quite a bit. So we might go on walks, go to the library or to the park that's close by. And then we also have a homeschool group that we meet with. It's just a couple of us moms, and it's more or less a play group now. When we first started, we were doing little art projects, and sometimes we would do a poetry lesson, things like that. But now that the kids are growing up a little bit more, they're not really interested in doing little activities. And so they more or less just play and hang out together. And the nice part about having a community like that is so that us moms can get our cups filled as well and just have that friendship time to chat and have coffee and just have a nice community. Some of the other things that we do for extracurriculars, my daughter is involved in dance. She's been dancing since she was 4 years old. And so we go to a local dance studio a little ways away. And so she does that 2 days a week. She also goes to Sunday school at our church, and she goes to Awana, which is a Bible-based midweek activity, and they study the Bible and they sing songs, and it's like a youth group for kids. If you have kids that are interested in sports, those are always good things to do as well. If you need other ideas for a community, you might consider looking into a co-op or a homeschool group. So the next several things that I'm going to talk about are actual office supplies, things like that. And I did want to just give a little disclaimer for anybody that is in their first year of homeschooling or you're thinking about homeschooling. You do not need all of these things. When I first started homeschooling, I had purchased the curriculum that we were going to use, and we had pencils and notebooks, and I think I bought a calendar pocket chart because my daughter had asked for one for Christmas. But we didn't have all of these things when we first started, and that was okay. We did just fine without them. But over the years, just one item at a time, I have collected some things that I really love to use. So instead of calling these my homeschool must-haves or essentials, I'm going to just call it homeschool supplies that I love. So the first thing that I have that I actually got as a gift, but right at the end of when I stopped teaching, right before my daughter was in kindergarten, one of my teacher friends gave me her laminator. She was retiring, and she had a personal laminator that she was going to be not using anymore. And this thing still works great. I've had it now for 6 years. I like to laminate things like maps so that my daughter can use dry erase markers to write on them. I also like to make booklets sometimes, like for instance, morning menus are really popular in the homeschool community. And so instead of buying a menu off of Amazon and you had to buy like an 8-pack, I went ahead and made my own in a little bit more of a creative way. So we have our front cover here laminated, and then I used sheet protectors inside. This was quite a while ago that we used this, so it's not up to date, but I just put things that we were working on for memory work in this little booklet. Now, the laminator uses thermal laminating pouches, and this is the kind that I use, the Scotch thermal laminating pouches. And I got mine in a box of 100 sheets, and I'm still working on this. I would say that I used this a lot more when she was younger. Okay, so the next thing that I want to show you is my Pro-Click binding system. Now, this basically is just a hole punch, and it punches holes so that you can use these little coils to bind things into booklets. So let me show you an example. The morning menu that I showed earlier has this binding system. And the nice part is that you can use this little tool here, and you can open it up. You can open it up like this. There we go. And you just slide your papers on, and then they just snap closed. And the nice part is that if you bind something and you decide later on that you need to add a page or take a page out, you can just use this tool to open it back up and add the page that you want or take something away. And so they're really nice to have. I will link them down in the description box if you're interested in looking at that. But basically, this bar just slides across and just like a 3-hole punch, punches the holes out. And there's a little, oh yeah, see, it's full, a little collector tray down in the bottom. So the next thing that I really have loved having in our homeschool, which I actually bought before I was homeschooling, this is my X-Acto pencil sharpener. And this thing is very durable. When I was teaching, every elementary teacher that I worked with, this was the pencil sharpener that they would purchase. And yes, they're a little bit expensive, but well worth it. And this pencil sharpener has never broken, it's never jammed. I don't even think I've ever overheated it, even with doing like a big pack of colored pencils or something like that. That's the other nice thing, is that this this pencil sharpener works really well with colored pencils, which is not always the case with some of the cheaper brands. So these are well worth it. Now, I even cleaned this out for you today, but the other cool part is that they have little suction cups on the bottom. And so if it's sitting on your table or a desk, it's not going to just fly off, especially if a little one pulls the cord, it's going to stick right there on the spot. So that is really nice. Okay, another thing that we have found very useful in our homeschool, which is just something that we love, is our SoundLink Mini Bose speaker. And it has a little charger that it sits on, and it's just a little speaker that you can connect to your phone and play the hymns that we do for morning time or the songs that we use in our history program, things like that. Okay, so the next couple of things that I have to show you are actually around my homeschool room. So, which our homeschool room is our dining room. So I'm just going to take you to those places and show you what I'm talking about. So let's go. Okay, so the next thing that I want to talk about is our homeschool bookshelf and some of the things that are on it. And some of the supplies that I really like having are my my gray drawers where I keep lots of random little things. Some of the other things that I really like to have are my little tray for turning things in. This is where I have my daughter turn her assignments in. And then she keeps all of her school books and any kind of workbooks that she has in her little magazine holder. And then I also really like to use baskets. So I put all of her readers in these baskets. I have more for next year up here. The next thing that I like to have is this little rolling cart. And I got this off of Amazon a couple of years ago. But these just have drawers that slide in and out. And so it's nice to keep our art supplies tucked away, our math blocks, any kind of paper we put in here, our printer paper and lined paper and construction paper, things like that. Then right above that, I have my printer. And this is not a printer that I would say is a must-have for me. I have a couple of future purchases that I still would like to make. So if you have any printer suggestions, please leave them for me down in the comments, because I always hear people talk about the Epson Eco Tank, which I would love to have for being able to print in bulk, kind of. This printer is a color printer, which is great, but it only prints kind of small batches and the ink is really expensive. I also really like to have this little line right here to be able to hang different things. Right now we have artwork on the line. I like to use baskets. And I also find it really helpful to have a cube shelf. Now, the reason a cube shelf is so nice, especially one like this, we bought this on Amazon, is that you can adjust the height of the cubes. Like this one over here. This one over here is taller, and so it can hold all of our taller books. And then of course I have my basket where I store all of my homeschool mom materials, instructor's manuals, things like that. Another item that I think is really nice to have is a big map. Now this markable map is something that you get when you order Sunlight History Bible Literature packages, and I guess it might be an add-on actually, but it is extremely useful. You can use wet erase marker on here, and so then the information that you write on here does not wipe off super easy. I just have these hung up by little binder clips on a push pin. Couldn't think of the word there for a minute, but I really, really like having a map. Now this map is actually double-sided, so it has the United States map on this side, and then if you flip it over, it has a world map. So that has been really nice to have. Another supply that I like to have is a whiteboard, and specifically a magnetic whiteboard. I keep this very low. It's right here on the floor almost, and that is because when we first put this up, my daughter was using All About Spelling, and we used All About Reading levels 1 through 4 when she was younger. And so I would always put the letter tiles up at the very top. She would build words down at the bottom. Right now, my son is mostly using this. He's 3, and so he just likes to play with magnets. And so right now we have the alphabet magnets up on the board. Other times we have dinosaurs or farm animals, things like that. But I really like having a magnetic whiteboard. And another thing that's really helpful is to have these little hooks. So I have a pocket chart calendar that we use and we'll be using next year. I showed it in a recent math curriculum picks video for my taught school preschool son. And so we will hang the calendar up here and have it nice and low for him to use. So I think that is about it for this school supplies that I really love to have. I do still have some things that I am looking to purchase in the future. So if you have any suggestions on printers, first of all, I always hear people talking about the Epson EcoTank printers and how great they are and how long they last and things like that. So that is one thing that I have been really wanting to buy. So we haven't purchased that yet, but that is definitely on my list of things to save up for. Another thing that I would really like to have is a label maker. I feel like laminating and binding things could only be enhanced with label making, and so that is something that I can use in our homeschool, and my husband has mentioned that he might be able to utilize one of those, so that might be something I can get him to buy me soon because he might want to use it too. Thank you so much for watching today, and I hope that you will get some good ideas from not only this video, but from the playlist that I link below of the collaboration with CJ from Homeschooling Through High School and Stephanie from Schulte Sweetie's Homeschool. Don't forget to check out all the other videos so that you can get some good ideas of things that you might want to use in your homeschool. I hope you guys all have a great day, and we'll see you next time.